Hi, yesterday I did an oracle reading for how we can raise our vibration of love, both for individuals and the collective. And it was a general reading using the Alana Fairchild Kali Oracle deck. And I decided to do a second video about what is blocking us from raising our vibration of love. I just thought it was so cool how yesterday for that question I pulled the Anahata Kali card, which had to do with the heart chakra. And today we'll just see what is blocking us. I feel like sometimes it's an external thing, sometimes it's our beliefs, sometimes it's just our past emotions and traumas that have left an imprint in our energy system and our mind, body, spirit complex. And there's a lot that we can do for this individually and collectively, but sometimes it can be a little bit confusing. And first, let's just look at what is the blockage. And Dhumavati. Okay, so I read these because if you're not familiar with Alana Fairchild, she's a brilliant writer. She has many, many different books and decks, and I'll add some commentary at the end, but I do like to actually read what she has written. And this is number 22, Dhumavati. Beloved mother who dwells in the smoke, who presides over the most difficult transitions, she who knows that certain endings are unavoidable, they are necessary predecessors to radical reinvention. Her presence brings the message that though disappointment, defeat, or loss, and the negative repercussions of such experiences may cause suffering for a time, they will not limit your future happiness. They are means for opening as yet unrecognized pathways for fulfillment. Your trust must be unconditional at this time, and later you shall see that everything has worked out for the absolute best. The seventh of the Mahavidya wisdom goddesses is Dhumavati. She is the crone goddess and uniquely in Hindu context from which she arises, also a widow. Her name means she who is made of smoke, and as the expression goes, where there is smoke, there is fire. Dhumavati is associated with the profound suffering, just as smoke is the polluting and concealing manifestation of fire. It can be hard to believe there is any divine blessing, hidden or otherwise, when we are in the agonies of intense suffering. That's the truth. In honoring Dhumavati, we acknowledge that suffering is part of life and can develop compassion. Our capacity for kindness is often in direct proportion to the suffering we have experienced and processed, as it can grow empathy and wisdom in the soul. Some continue to create pain for themselves and others alleviate suffering in the world through what they have learned. The difference comes through the willingness to face and process pain. Dhumavati can help us find the courage to be real about our suffering, neither becoming lost in it nor avoiding it, but rather to go through it and process it. Dhumavati is often associated with the most painful aspects of human experience: aging, disease, thirst, poverty, hunger, death, and ugliness on all levels. This may cause some to fear her and to try to push her away. Yet when we are suffering greatly, we can know that she is with us. With her black, smoky skin, she becomes the blackened Madonna, the beloved mother who does not watch our suffering from some remote place in blissful detachment, but is suffering along with us. Our cries resonate in her heart. In our emotional anguish, she is our sacred companion, and her presence can help us bear witness with honesty and courage. Healing begins with an acknowledgement of suffering. You cannot resolve an issue if you deny it exists. Bearing honest witness is the only way for change to begin. When Dhumavati arises in a reading, there is an opportunity to end a profound and difficult struggle, perhaps one that is obscured and difficult to articulate and acknowledge. Such truth-speaking to yourself happens when you can admit, this is not good for me, or I'm not yet sure with what or how, but something needs to stop. Dhumavati is sometimes depicted with two crows attempting to pull a cart they could not move. At other times, her cart is without means of movement at all. She brings the message that the path you are on cannot take you any further. This does not mean that life is over, but rather that life as you have known it has come to an end. This is the inception of a new cycle. To be ready for it, as we know from Kali's mysteries, we must grieve and release what has been. In the social context from which Dhumavati emerges, widows are at the edges of acceptable social status. In this way, Dhumavati is a goddess for those who have been shunned, criticized, or denounced, those forced out of social status or position through circumstances that are not necessarily of their own choosing. When external events seem to be forcing you in a certain direction, feelings of vulnerability can arise, but then so can a sense of being deeply guided by the universe. Dhumavati's presence signifies a time when something you once counted on has failed you in some way. Through that process, opportunities open that would not have been otherwise available to you. Dhumavati is the harbinger of endings and loss, but also of radical trust and secret blessings that are revealed later, and most often unexpectedly. Something avoided at all costs happens anyway, and we end up being grateful for it because it frees us. New horizons open up. Everything changes. It wasn't easy. It took courage. It hurt a lot. We had to grow, but she was there with us, letting us know, this feels terrible, but something good is going to come from it. The pain will end. You are going to be more than just okay. You are going to thrive. And there's some invocations and prayers to further enhance this understanding. And she says, take a moment to acknowledge where you are struggling right now. It may be pain in your life, pain you sense in others, or the world. That acknowledgement can become the ending of a pathway that cannot lead you anywhere worth going. You don't have to know how to start a new path. The Divine Mother knows. As you honestly and courageously bear witness, you can speak your declaration. Okay, absolutely beautiful as always. Yeah, this, the shadows and the fire and the pain and the hurt, I don't remember even if I said it on the recording, but just as I was thinking about asking this question, I was thinking about, the different traumas and stored emotions and pains and things, losses that we hold on to. And I notice, when I have been through a lot of loss and stuff myself, and this pain, it gets so physical and it just completely overtakes my awareness. It's like when you're in it, you just don't think that there's a way out. But over time, it becomes less and less and less as we embrace and go through it. And I've experienced so many times where this has been the case. And I think a lot of times, I just want to be free from the pain. I want to be free from the suffering. I just want to feel good. I just want to feel the love. But that created some resistance to the pain that was there. And when I completely surrendered and went into that, just sitting in acceptance and embracing that this pain is real and acknowledging it, like it says, it allows the grip that it holds on us to lessen. And I've had experiences where I was in really an emotional rock bottom. In 2014, I had really hit an emotional rock bottom, but I had just had this experience where Ganesh appeared in my room as like a 3D hologram, and I could see it. And in my mind, Ganesh is the remover of obstacles. So in my mind, I thought, okay, well, all my problems and obstacles will be removed and easy peasy, then I'll just go on and have a great life and everything will be easy. But it's not always like that. And Ganesh can also put obstacles in our place when things aren't good for us. And if we're like keep butting our head up against a wall and things aren't working out, it's because it's not meant for us. And sometimes we have to, redirect and go a different direction. Sometimes we really know that, we're on the right path and we just have to persist, even though we might be getting rejected or, different things might not be happening quite yet. But if you feel very certain that it's the right path for you, then, you'll find a way if you continue to work on it. But at this time, when I had this experience with Ganesh, I soon after just hit a complete bottom, and I ended up going into recovery and 12-step recovery programs, and really, taking inventory for everything that had been um, causing issues in my life, pain, resentment, anger. And it was such a grueling process, but it was so worth it because it allowed me to have complete freedom. And I realized, like, I was the obstacle, my patterns, my beliefs, these things that kept happening over and over again. It was because of me. It was my stuff, my stuff, my shit, my stuff that I had to work through. Now, over the last few years, I've been doing energy work, and I do it on myself as well as other people for clients. And I often see in the heart chakra, where, or the whole physiology. Sometimes, for example, the sacral chakra, where it has to do with our sexuality and creativity, and the root chakra, feeling grounded or maybe feeling unstable and not supported, and lack of abundance. All the chakras can actually play a part in this, including the base of the heart chakra, which can really uphold and support our emotional stability. All these things can get a little bit off, and we get stuck in these patterns of maybe anger or resentment or fear or lack of security, and it feels so uncomfortable, and there can be strong physical pains associated with it. And everybody's different, but we hold and store our pains and emotions and traumas in certain ways in different areas. And sometimes when I'm doing work with people, I see the heaviness, and I feel it's like this black sticky sludge that is sort of coagulated and deposited somewhere. It's not a literal physical thing, although it can certainly manifest as that later on. But I see it more energetically, and to me it feels very, very real. And then there can also be like these very sharp, sort of metallic, harder, denser deposits of stuck energy, and that feels more like metal, like shards of metal or iron filings. And I feel that being pulled out of certain areas. And then also these feelings of maybe unworthiness, of lack, of not being deserving of love and fulfillment, or looking for it in places that it's never going to come from. And where's it going to come from? Within. When your energy, your soul, your consciousness is really stabilized and grounded in that field of pure consciousness, and it's so much easier to feel that unconditional love all the time, regardless of who may or may not be, giving you some sort of love or attention or affection or time and energy. So, yeah, a lot of times it also has to do with the receiving chamber of the heart. We have different aspects of the heart chakra. Our whole energy system is actually quite complex, and I think it gets really oversimplified in a lot of the teachings and knowledge of even like the 7 main chakras. There's many different systems of chakras, but the whole energy system, when you're really aligned and open and things are flowing really well, and the heart is flowing, and there's a good balance of the receiving and the giving energies in the heart chakra, it's much easier. We can receive love not only from others, but from ourselves, and just everything. We're much more capable of just receiving love and abundance and guidance. And so this was a really beautiful card. The Dimavati Kali card, and the reading that went along with it. If you'd ever like to do it at some point, energy realignment session with me, I can tune into what's going on with you. It's not even that I'm doing it, but I just sort of accelerate and accentuate your own soul's energy and healing energies and Shakti or intelligence to balance and align and clear what's going on in your mind, body, spirit complex. And it's really a heart-based modality, heart-centered modality. So it always starts in the heart chakra and then goes exactly where it needs to go. It could be any part of the body or energy systems, the koshas, the chakras, the marma points, the nadis, anything. Or deep in the cells and tissue, the dhatus of the physiology, or even the organs, anywhere. So it's quite fascinating. And Ideally, it's something that you can do for yourself. And, I could do a few sessions with somebody in person or remotely and then give them, really the key to sort of do this for themselves. And this has been so huge for me, because I've had a lot of pain and loss and trauma, and I'm so sensitive. And so for me to be able to really feel and really feel what's going on in my chakras and my energy system, and when these emotions or different thought patterns start to come up, it's kind of like nipping them in the bud when they start to get heavier, or my thoughts start to get more negative. Then I really start to notice right away. And this isn't always true. I've had really, really intense grief, and sometimes grief is just all consuming. And everything that was mentioned in this reading with like the widow being sort of shunned socially, and all these things, a lot of the experiences that we go through, not everyone can relate to, and that can make us feel even more isolated and lonely. And that, of course, causes more pain and suffering in the heart. So, if you don't know really where people are coming from, or how to just be completely stabilized in your own field of loving energy and source energy, that we have so much support from our spirit team, and however you put a word to some higher power or source energy, or God or goddesses, gods, however you describe it. There is so much love and energy in the universe, and just being able to tap into that, of course, is such a beautiful way to experience more joy and love and harmony in your life. Okay, I hope you got something out of that. I'll ask some more questions. I love this Kali Oracle deck. Most of my cards are in a storage unit because I recently moved, but I do have a couple other decks and tarot cards as well. So I'll be doing some more readings from time to time. But I just love pulling a card and, and referencing this book. So hope you enjoyed. Take care.